Listen, I have an idea.
It's how I feel when you make lemonade. Whatever today has given you. 511 headaches, still call it Thanksgiving. True.
Welcome to another edition of the Super Duper Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Griggs, here with the super producer, Ez McMahon.
Yes. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yo, what hat is that today?
This is the Hartford Whalers,
That's
former team from the NHL.
That's a new one.
You never seen this?
I would have remembered that one.
This logo? You probably haven't seen me wear it, but you don't remember this logo?
That's crazy.
Yeah, the Hartford Whalers were in the NHL until I believe the late 90s.
Yeah. They said, no, we cool.
I don't think Hartford was I think they had a good fan base, but not good enough.
Yeah.
For the NHL, and they left at 97 was their final season.
Well, we'll get to, I guess, something in a minute. Thank you for checking out Super Duper Pod. We do not take your listens lightly. You can check us out on YouTube, HP53 Productions, to see Ez's hats and his mini hats. Also follow us on all socials, SUPADUPAPOD. What up, Sarah? And online at HP53productions.com for our merch and additional content such as the Easy Smoke and GM podcast with our own Ez McMahon and his famous hats. What I was thinking about before I got the church announcements is, have you seen these Air Jordan 40s?
No.
Yeah, man. It's the Jordan brand's latest model. So they released one in July, but they did a touch-up that's coming out in November. It's called the Air Jordan 40. Falls in the colorway steeped in tradition. The pair features a white, black, sail, and varsity red scheme, a palette that has defined the Air Jordan line since its inception. The design pulls directly from the franchise's roots. Most notably, the Air Jordan 1. The iconic wings logo sits on the collar, lying to the shoe, yada, yada, yada. You can Google for the rest, but the shoes are cold. They're $205. Save your dollars. Man. I think I bought my first pair of Jordans in the pandemic. I don't know if I ever told you that. I never owned a pair of Jordans to the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because when I was younger, I got some Pippins, and I remember my mother going, "How much it is?" And her face was like, "Yeah," and I said, "Oh man, my parents worked hard." I was like, "I ain't gonna ask them. I'm cool." And I just never thought about it until the pandy hit, and I had, we weren't going nowhere. Had a couple bucks in your pocket, and Nike was giving them things away. I was like, let me get a couple. And about 20 pairs later, I'm looking at these Jordans, but these 40s. Oh, crazy. That's not even what we want to talk about today. I just forgot to mention that to you before we hit record, dog.
I only see the Dusty Rose.
Just Google Jordan 40.
I did.
I'm on
the Nike site. Hold on.
No. You got to look at the regular Google. You can't do the regular Nike site. They're trying to hold it out because they ain't ready to come out yet. That's why. All right, I don't want to get us held up with that. So, guys, Google Air Jordan 40. See what we're talking about. But we got a jam-packed show. I think we've had guests like 3 weeks in a row, man. So it's me and you this week. Back at it.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
I took a little break.
So that they will be behind the scenes. Like, all right, that was great, wasn't it, Rob? But so as before we started recording, we talked about the new movie that just got released with Spike Lee and Denzel Washington, Highest to Lowest. Now, you've heard of this movie, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard about it.
Did you get a chance to see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
So I got a chance to see it, but here's why. So it was released August 14th through September 4th, and on Apple TV on September 5th. So it has a limited theatrical release.
Okay.
So it's not playing in AMC theaters or Cinemark. Like I said, 3-week release, excluding major chains. They did this intentionally to be shown for a shorter, truncated period of 3 weeks. Like I had to go see this joint on the north side. You know what I mean? To find, couldn't even find it.
Yeah.
And so theater, AMC, Cinemark, they're mad about it, so they're not screening it. And Spike Lee and Denzel chose this model to have greater creative freedom, allowing them to make the film how they saw fit. And I guess with the support of Apple, footing the bill, because that's been the debate in the streaming world, right? Like, do you need the movie theaters? For example, we talked about K-pop Demon Hunters last week, and you probably been seeing it in the news more lately, like just random stuff about it. But in addition to Travis and
I saw
Taylor,
they I think they were #1
yeah.
over the weekend.
But then, so after being #1 on Netflix, they went to the movies and did a sing along for K-pop Demon Hunters, right? So it's like there's this new thing of, do you need the theaters? Because like AMC doesn't show Netflix movies
Okay.
because Netflix doesn't have a full theatrical strategy that will support what if AMC is like, we giving y'all space, y'all gotta do something, y'all gotta commit to a longer window. And Netflix is like, that's not what we're doing. So AMC is like, well, then fine then. And Netflix is like, well, fine then. And
Right.
that's why, I got to drive to some rinky dink theater to see a movie like Highest and Lowest, man. You know what I'm saying? And there was a bunch of senior citizens. Shout out to them. They love Denzel. But it was a good movie, man. ASAP Rocky was in the movie, had a really big part in it. It's a reinterpretation of Akira Kurosawa's 1963 film High and Low, which was itself based upon Ed McBay's 1959 novel King's Ransom, directed by Spike Lee, starred Denzel. The film updates the story of a wealthy music executive, I don't want to give it away, but facing a plot to modern day New York City, exploring themes of class, morality, and economic inequality, man. So here's the thing. Was it one of Spike's greatest movies? I think this was like he and Denzel's fifth one. So was Mo Better Blues,
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X,
Mm-hmm.
Inside Man.
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing?
Uh,
I'm missing one. Or is it 4? Hey Google, how many movies did
the
Spike Lee and
Inside
Denzel
Man,
make together? Oh, you don't know nothing.
Mo Better Blues, Inside Man.
Somebody, PT's probably screaming, "Hey Google, stop." Never know. She knows what's going on.
Hold
But,
on, let's see. Spike Lee.
but why you look it up? The point I
Let's
was
do it
making.
the old way.
Yeah. So why you looking? I'll just say this part. How was it the greatest Spike Lee movie? No, you know what I'm saying? Not at all, right? But it was a good movie, and I missed the days of just seeing a good movie. Like we're at the point now is where everything either has to be like in game, right, or it sucks, and it doesn't fit in those categories. Like nothing. I was entertained. Folks
How
was
do
like,
he got game?
how did I forget he got game? So there's
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did 5 movies together. You would think it was more, right? But it's like I guess not.
And the last one was He Got Game. That's 20 something years ago.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Oh no, Inside Man was 2006.
But I think it was he got game then Inside Man,
Yeah.
and then Highest to Lowest. But it's a good entertaining movie. I would say if you can still try to catch it, please do before because again it'll be on Apple TV exclusively September 5th. So they'll of course want people to see it on the platform. Man, you got Apple TV?
I'll catch it on Apple TV. Yeah.
Okay, no doubt. Yeah, shout out to my hookup. I want to give his credentials out. Apple might shut him down. Shout out to the hookup. But no, but I think as I would say, check it out. I know you're not going to see it in the movie theaters, so you'll
I'm
check
sure
it
not.
on it. But it's a good film. Just because the problem is with Netflix. Well, I must say Netflix was cooking the last few weeks. I watched Hunting Wives. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of it, haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I mean, I was stuck. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It was that show was pretty wild, man. I saw something else. Oh, that was on HBO Max. But yeah, Hunting Wives was that's something. That's something to see. Yeah, that's all I'll say to that because
Okay.
a lot going on. And at first you're like, why am I watching this? Then you're like, yeah, I'm glad I'm watching this. It's like, yeah. But actually, let me turn this volume down.
It's like that?
It's like that, bro.
You gotta guard your TV screen?
Got to. It might be better if you watch it on your phone. You understand me?
I got you. Okay.
It's been a while.
Enough said. I got you.
Honey,
I
what? I'm
got
watching the game. I promise it's the game. No, but yeah, check out Highest to Lowest. Support it. Support again. I've saw some stuff on Facebook, right? People saying Highest sucks, but I think we're caught in this thing, man. If it's not the blowing you away, blah blah blah, then it's trash. That's not true. You know what I'm saying?
No.
it could be. It's a good to me. It's a good time. I mean, Denzel getting older. It's fun. I will say this: it's the scene where he running in the movie, and then they do a pan out, and it ain't him running no more. But you think it's him? It's like he ain't running that square. No, he don't even walk that square no more, man. That ain't even him, dog. So Ed's next story is from NBC News. I thought about you when I saw this. I've saved this specifically for you.
Let's
So
do it.
I saw it on CNN, but I'm getting this copy here from the NBCnews.com.
All right.
Beijing in August, um, they held the first ever Robot Humanoid Games. So here's from the NBC News. They aren't the most graceful athletes or the fastest, but they're learning. From Friday to Sunday, human handlers from 16 countries put about 500 bipedal robots through various motions to showcase the promise and limits of embodied artificial intelligence at what was billed as the first world humanoid robot games in Beijing. The robotic participants came in all shapes and sizes, structures, and competed in 26 different sporting events, from running to kickboxing to soccer. The unusual state-backed sports tournament at the National Speed Skating Oval, a Beijing Olympic venue, came as the United States and China raced each other to shape the future of AI. And so I saw, and and maybe Sarah can find some of the clips and put it on the socials for people to see. But like you see it, I saw this on CNN. You saw the top five on CNN, on HBO Max, and they showing the robots racing and falling. Right, they kind of kicking each other and shutting down. It was all ha ha ha. This is funny. And I said until somebody figured this out and they compete in the 2036 Olympics. You see what I'm saying? Now it ain't funny no more. You know what I mean? It's all cute. It's cute now. Let's say 2048, right? It's cute now. It's a joke now until they planning their own going games, or they make us run. It's like, yeah, humans build code, or your life depends on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sirens keep telling y'all.
Don't get too attached to these things, man. These are gonna be the enemy. I'm telling you.
That's your thing.
That's mine. Yes.
I mean, I still, you know me, I'm pro Allen Iverson, right? And I still feel like because it's got me out a couple jams, but I still feel like there's a way to use it as a tool. But you and Dr. Williams, he used a big word that he's a Luddite. That's pretty much no technology. He cool on that stuff, and it's like he doesn't need it. He's
I
no,
don't.
but
I don't.
his thing is like you, like nah, this is gonna get worse. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a tool, but his thing was you use it as a tool, but most people don't, and
Mm-hmm.
they stop thinking and not using their heads and whatnot. So and I can see that as well. Like I have to force myself to not like when you see the commercials, they're just asking Google like the AI like how they should feel about something. I'm like, wait a second, why are you asking a machine how you should feel? Like that kind of stuff. That's where it gets tricky. I'm like, hey, make sure this email is concise. that's what I use it for. Like, hey, I'm trying to write this deck, blah 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 blah. Give me 5 slides. Thank you. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? But I can see how but I will say I can see how people just get leaning to using it more. And just because it's like gives you the answer, you have to think about it. And that's what we want to do less of. Think.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's not a good thing because people don't use it. As my dad would say when we were younger, when you were doing something stupid, he said, "Use your head." Like his whole thing, you think. That was his mantra. Still to this day, use your head.
We are gonna slowly lose brain power. I'm telling you.
And I will say this, but the thing is this though, is it helps. It on one side, it can help you solve these larger problems, these more complex problems, a lot faster, right? But now the thing is, I think that the concern is how much power do these robots get, right? And like we talked about a few episodes ago, how the joint didn't want to shut itself down. There was some
Yeah.
email. That was your
Yeah.
like you'll stick that feather in your cap forever. Like, yeah,
I
see, they right here.
Robot showed us this 20 years ago. I don't know why we not listening.
Sure did, man.
Will Smith showed us this.
Tried to Will Smith.
Yeah.
Still making the news. So Ed's next thing on the list, man. So did you hear about these new words being added to the Cambridge Dictionary?
No.
Okay.
No.
So there are a few words added to the Cambridge Dictionary about a week ago, right?
All
So
right.
one word, you ready? Skibbity. I think I'm saying it right. Skibbity.
Skibbity.
Yeah. Means cool or bad, or no meaning like a joke. So skibbity was recently added to the Cambridge Dictionary as a slang
Use
term.
it in a sentence.
Here we go. Defined as the word that can mean cool or bad, depending on context, or be used as a joke with no specific meaning. Coined by the creator of the popular Skibbity Toilet YouTube series, has gained traction on social media, leading to phrases like, "What the skibbity are you doing?"
Nope.
You out?
No.
No,
That
come on.
that don't flow right.
What the skibbity, dog?
No.
For the rest of the show.
No.
Man, it's the
The
skibbity thing.
skibbity?
The skibbity.
The skibbity.
You're gonna use it
No.
tomorrow. You're gonna use it tomorrow.
I guarantee you I won't.
What the skibbity, dog? Yeah, I'm running late, man. Skibbity out.
No.
Next one is Delulu. Have you heard of this?
Delulu. No.
Okay.
Definition.
The word Delulu is in the Cambridge Dictionary as well. Delulu is a shortened form of delusional, which
Okay.
describes someone believing things are not true or real. The term originated in K-pop fan communities and gained significant attention throughout social media platforms like TikTok, where the phrases like Delulu is the Salulu, delusion is the solution became popular. Now that's Delulu, right? Now that I might use
No,
tomorrow.
I can't use Delulu.
Can't use
No.
Delulu, man.
That's not.
I just see on the pod
It's
like,
not masculine enough.
what's the coach doing, man? He Delulu,
He's
and then
Delulu. No.
coach and GM just log off the
No.
pod.
I guarantee I Smoker just he quit. I know that. Absolutely.
Next word, trad wife. Have you heard this?
Trad wife.
Trad wife. Okay. The term trad wife is defined as a married woman who embraces traditional gender roles, particularly as a homemaker and mother, often broadcasting this lifestyle on social media. This word,
Trad wife. Why trad?
traditional. The word is short, traditional, and has gained prominence as a social media trend associated with conservative values and the rejection of the boss babe or career focused lifestyle. So this is the antithesis of the kind of, I don't need no man movement, blah blah blah. I'm out here making my own checks, so on and so forth.
Okay.
I like being home, being a trad wife. Next word is broligarchy.
Broligarchy.
So you probably can figure out what that means. It's described as a neologism and portmanteau. So portmanteau, for y'all to know, that's when two words are pushed together, right? Where I'm lost word of oligarchy and broism, referring to the rule of a small, extremely wealthy male group, especially in tech, who hold political power. However, so it's discussing news results like that.
So basically, you're talking about
Zuckerbergs,
the Bezoses,
the
the Elon Musks, the broligarchy.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Would you use that in a sentence?
If I'm talking about I use it if I'm talking about them. Yeah, the broligarchy. Yeah.
I'm gonna use Delulu with my kids and just have them stare at me like, what? What are you saying? So I was thinking, man, like, these words are stupid. Let's keep it a buck, right? It's like,
absolutely.
It used to be a time. Now this might be to your point about us just becoming dumber and whatnot, because these are the new words we added to the dictionary, right?
And it's in the dictionary. Come on,
dictionary.
man.
I mean, I think when they added, the word Google, that meant actually something very significant.
But I get that. Google, it's a huge part of our society now, right?
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Skibbity shouldn't be a part of our society. No.
Now I will say these words were added to the Cambridge Dictionary, not the Oxford English Dictionary. But I looked it up because I was trying to figure out, like, how does this happen?
What's the difference between the two?
So I think the Oxford is like the official, like, all right, now, kind of got to be a serious word. Cambridge is just more words that are being used in the lexicon more often.
Isn't Cambridge isn't that like the
like Harvard,
oldest university or am I thinking of
I think I'm thinking of Oxford. Maybe I mixed up. You think of Oxford, right?
Wait, where do you get the what's the Rhodes Scholar? Where do you go to school?
Hey Google, where do you get the Rhodes Scholar? See, I'm not using my brain.
Here are some pictures that match.
Oh, see, Google. See, let's think with Google, man. I asked for one thing.
Do they go to Oxford or do they go to Cambridge?
I'm not sure. I had to listen to that later. How about you Google that while I read this? So So, but I looked up how words get added to a dictionary. So, new words are added to a dictionary by lexicographers, dictionary editors, who track words in various media, collect citations of their use, and analyze them for widespread, sustained, and meaningful use over time. So, once a word meets these criteria, it's added to a database and undergoes further review before being included in the dictionary, with updates occurring regularly to reflect the evolving language. So again, like now the word skibbity, right? That guy, it came from a YouTube series. Now I didn't look up the numbers, but I can probably guess his YouTube series is a pretty big deal to the point that he's using it, people are using it in the socials. These words are growing because I think Riz was a word that was added last year. I don't know if you remember that. I don't remember
I've heard of Riz.
and we talked about Riz last year, right? But it's like that these words, because of social media, makes things spread so quickly, right? With trends or what have you, things just like I promise you, I'm gonna do a test. I'm gonna introduce Delulu to family night,
Okay.
and I'm gonna see how many weeks it takes. Not my mom, my dad, to say that's Delulu. See, since he kind of
He's not.
what's your money? You think I'm gonna say 4 weeks?
My man Bob Riggs is not gonna be talking about no Delulu, man.
I'm gonna give it.
That's not happening.
I'm gonna give it 4 weeks. I'm
Not
telling
happening.
you, pop and change, man. You know what I'm saying? He watch all the TV now. He on the socials. He on his phone, on the smartphone. Nah, man.
Not happening.
4 weeks.
By the way, the Rhodes Scholar goes to Oxford.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, later for the Cambridge Dictionary now. By the way, I also learned they only accept 0.7% of their applicants.
Oh, God. They laugh. Ha ha. Another one rejected. Like they probably get mad and let somebody in. Like, oh, we got. Darn
Have
it.
to let him in.
Gotta let him in. Jeez. But yeah, but that makes sense, right? They have all these people look at all these words, how they're being used, right, and just make a determination. Like the citations are big too. Probably see not just how it's being used, but where it's being used. Like there's some idiots online using it, but like if it makes the news, right? Good Morning America does a story about it, or that kind of thing, then it becomes more widespread. But I just don't think it should. I think we should vote on this as a people because I wouldn't have voted for Skibbity. Like bro oligarchy. I mean, it's just to me, these is words we made up. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of all the stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Should be in a dictionary. You know how many times I say that? And how many people I know say it that way? Now, maybe that's just because those are words that are it's more slang and it's just how I'm saying it, but it's not a new word. But I mean, I know shout out to CJ the boss in college, we made up all kinds of words that I'm sure just didn't catch on, right? But who knows? We were just dummies in college.
Nah, I
Right?
mean,
Shout out to Broski. He said I came home saying, "Don't sweat your mental, son." I was like, "You are lying. I never said that in my life, man."
don't sweat your mentals.
Yeah, yeah. He said, "Yeah." He said I came home was like, "Don't sweat your mental, son." I was like, "I don't even sound like me." I was like, "You making this up?"
That was that Williamstown talk, huh?
I mean, I was only there for a couple months too. Months? Get out of here, bro.
That's funny.
So, as you and I have been talking about this next topic for a while, and it's been, it's been something that has, as you see footage about it, just kind of bring up the heartbreaking reality of what happened. Tomorrow, actually, August 29th, depending on when you listen to this, is 20 years from when Hurricane Katrina just pretty much wrecked through New Orleans, right? And we were talking a bit about it last week, the Hulu documentary you mentioned. I watched the first episode and a half of the one on Netflix, and you're saying the Hulu one is better. But even still, I think
My opinion. I mean, they're both are very good, and they talk to a lot of the same people.
yeah,
But I like the insight that the Hulu documentary gave.
yeah, and to Ez's point, I mean, if you watch the Netflix one, you can't go
The
wrong, right?
the Hulu documentary got me more pissed off.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, this was more heartbreaking just because you just see how people do. Before we get into that, like a couple of things I was thinking about, like how this was 4 years after 9/11, right? Like, so 4 years after the country kind of banded together, it was kind of more, united to a degree because it's like we just survived this attack on our soil. What is happening, right? And then you had this later, and the country's back to being somewhat divided because of how this thing was handled. And it's also just wild like I like things like this. Like, I always thought about when I was younger, you would see something on the 60s, right? On the 70s, you had no recollection of it. But I would notice how my dad would kind of be like, man, I was working. He knew where he was working, what he was doing, you know what I'm saying, when a certain thing happened. And so now that's happening to us. And
Yeah.
like you just think about like, man, August 20, 2005, you know what I'm saying? This was a wild time. Hey, were we in Brazil? No, we weren't in Brazil. That was the next year. But it's still just like, you know, you remember seeing it on TV, right? And it always rained. This is hurricane season right now, right? It gets storms down south, Florida, and the Gulf. That's just a thing that they're prepared for. And some of these storms are greater than others. And so in the documentary, just a few points, man, that I was thinking about was just how like how many people couldn't leave, right? That was something that in the episode I saw that stuck out to me. Like, you think, because you hear about the storm is coming, get out of there. That's what everybody say. I leave, but like they said per the documentary, at least 120,000 people didn't have cars. Like, think
Well,
about
yeah.
that.
How if you don't have the means, how you gonna get out of
Right.
there?
And then even if you had the car, like they run out of gas, it's
Mhm.
gridlocked, and they were trying to balance the whole, evacuate or not evacuate. And that's
Right.
tricky too, because again, I don't want to give it all away, but a year before the storm missed New Orleans, right? People evacuated, got
Right.
hotels.
Hurricane Ivan.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
man, we did all this for nothing. Because sometimes we have snowstorms like that, right?
Yeah.
It's like
And then we don't get nothing.
yeah, they take you off work, don't
Yeah.
come in, it's fine. And then it's like nothing hits the ground. It'd be
Yeah.
like an inch and a half. And the job make up for it. It's like, yeah, y'all gotta work double tomorrow. And then like the next week, the real joint
Yeah.
come and
Snowmageddon comes and
nobody saw it coming, man. Just you wake up like and you halfway to work. It's no like that when you trying to get home. You're like, you gotta be kidding me, bro.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, but so and then again in the episode talked about the Hurricane Betsy in 65 and just how because again remember Chicago, I know about it because my sister the year she was born 1967 had the really bad
The
snowstorm that
snowstorm.
kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that now that where Chicago became more prepared for snow like that because they weren't prepared. It was just like we just got to ride this thing out until we dig out of it, and it's like this won't happen again. So in 1965 they built the levees out there with the help of the army because hurricane no levees were already built but the levees were still that was a really bad hurricane and the rumor is they
They
blew a
blew they
part of
blew them
levee,
up. Yeah.
yeah, to go through the Ninth Ward, which is where the black people lived to
They
save
said
the central business district. Right, they had to
we
get that water one way or another.
we either flood the Ninth Ward or we flood the business district, and they decided
And you
to.
know what they wasn't gonna flood. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Oh, and let me say this: shout out to Soledad O'Brien. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, man, like a Sauvignon Blanc,
Yeah.
1991, baby.
Yeah.
You understand?
I
I
have to
mean,
agree. I have to
I
agree with you
mean,
there.
shout out,
Have to agree.
Dad O'Brien. I mean, she still listens. The Lord is still able. Okay, Amen. Hallelujah. Uh, but but
Ah,
they talked about a term that I never. Sarah, please tag her because that's really a compliment. She was great in the doc, but the Lord still works. But they talked about evacuating up. I just I figured that's what happened, but I just never heard that term before. People, because again, how New Orleans is built, it's almost like what we all thinking, but it built it below sea level, so it's like
well, they did. They did. Remember they talked about how the lower Ninth Ward was the only place that black people could buy
yeah, homes and
homes in the
houses, yeah,
1930s, 40s, and 50s.
yeah, yeah.
Into the 60s, they could only buy in that area, and that was the low ground. That was done on purpose.
And it's crazy because again, you hear about this whole pull up stuff by your bootstraps and why you guys can't make it, stuff like this. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
like your homes get flooded year after year. You can't sell that and make it an investment. All you can do is pass it down and hope to hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that's hurting. And then you talk to, they knew the storm was coming, but they still weren't prepared for it, right? They knew how bad it was going to be. FEMA was in existence. Everybody knew the storm was coming, and it was still kind of like, what should we
Yeah.
do? And that's just,
Well, this is why you got to see this Hulu documentary
okay.
because they talked to that one FEMA person that was in New Orleans.
You're letting it rip.
And he just lets you know about all the failures that went on within FEMA during that storm. And these were things that could have been and should have been
Could have been.
rectified.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. So so that's hard, like you said, heartbreaking. It sucks, man.
Yeah, and it's in the second episode they got into the Superdome. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch that tonight because you know what I'm saying. I can tell that's gonna be heavy on the heart. You know what I mean? Just how they were treating people and not letting them leave. You know what I'm saying? Just like this is nuts. But I was thinking about how you take it for granted. We talk about how bad social media is and all stuff, yada yada yada. But like there was no phones, no socials back then. Granted, I'm sure phones would get knocked out, but a lot of stuff that's probably happening in the Superdome, people getting just locked in there. And I know if somebody put a post up, it goes live on X. The
Hmm.
White House says like, hold on, wait a second, we gotta
Yeah.
get down there. But people just stuck for days, and also a certain narrative could be spun that couldn't be debunked until you do documentaries like these
Right.
multiple years later,
Well,
right?
that talks about the crime and lawlessness that was going on. That
Yeah,
was the
we just
that was the
surviving.
narrative when that wasn't the case,
Yeah, yeah,
at all. You
yeah,
talk about the looters, people were getting stuff to survive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They needed to eat. They
And
needed water. They needed clothes.
yeah. And that's why, when Dr. Williams is on, he's talking about this administration. Like the valid point that he's making is like, hey man, I get it. You're trying to rile up a base, say another, but you still got a job to protect everybody here. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like no matter you in office now. Now the job is to make sure everybody cool. And that's not what's happening, right? It's they trying to set stuff up for the future when it's like, hey man, this can happen again. I mean, and natural disasters aren't stuff hit New York all the time, right? I mean, stuff in the and in New Orleans, the way it's built, it can just get hit over and over again. I looked up on Perplexity like some of the lasting effects of Hurricane Katrina. So hundreds of thousands of residents were displaced by the storm, and many never returned. Like that's
Hmm.
crazy. Like you just
So
that's
that's what the episode 3 goes into that.
okay.
If you once you see that on the
Gotcha.
Netflix version.
So the population of New Orleans fell by 30% in the years following Katrina and still remains below pre-Katrina levels. And, we see that in Chicago, people leaving, but you feel it, right? When it's like Chicago with millions of people, but a place like New Orleans, like, and then where it's a small population anyway, it's like people just ain't coming back, because
Yeah.
and I saw the part how like they were showing when it was over, they showed Bourbon Street, right? And it's like, yeah, we cool before the levees broke. It's like that's you think New Orleans is cool, is popping, because guess
Well,
what? We back. It's like,
well,
no,
I
man.
remember that. I remember watching the news, watching CNN, and them saying that the storm really missed New Orleans. Um, that they were expecting to be a Category 5 when it hit land,
Yeah.
and it I think it came in as like a Category 3, but the eye of the storm didn't go over New Orleans.
Mm,
So, when you saw all the news cameras, they were all in the French Quarter. Everything was fine. Everything was dry. And so they said, hey, New Orleans caught a break. That was
mm.
the initial reporting that was going on there. And then it wasn't until, later that Monday, I think the storm came on Sunday night.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, late or early Monday
Or
morning.
Monday morning, yeah, yeah.
And by Monday night, early Tuesday, that's when you started getting the reports of what was going on in the
With the
lower
levees
Ninth
broke.
Ward and
Yeah.
when the levees broke. So
And so, I remember I was working in sales at this time and I had to go to New Orleans. Like a few months later, obviously, once they, were letting stuff back in and people were going. And I remember I could still smell the water. So
yeah,
you could
yeah,
still smell it. And it was like, my goodness. And you just see how people were, just trying their best to help each other the best way they can because ain't no help coming. You think about Kanye's comment, George Bush does not care about black people, right? And at first it's like, man, yeah, we wildin', but I
nah, he
mean,
he was spot on that.
and maybe it's
That's
not George Bush in person, but like they were not doing the best thing they could to take to make
no,
sure people were safe, right?
they
These
weren't they
people were
weren't
pretty much
prepared. They weren't prepared.
no, and these people were fending for themselves, and they shouldn't
Yeah,
have been. Because it's one thing if it's like, wait, what's happening on the radar? what is this? This is a storm we've only seen in a million years. You know what I'm saying? Okay, y'all knew this was on the way, right? And this is how the people were treated and boxed in of sorts, man. Um, Approximately 40% of the evacuees from Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama did not return, with a disproportionate impact on African American and lower income communities. Rates of post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety spiked after the storm, especially among vulnerable populations. Significant numbers of survivors still experience these issues many years later. Prolonged exposure to contaminated floodwaters led to both acute and long-term health risks, including waterborne diseases and elevated concerns about chronic illness.
Mm.
See, that stuff we don't, it's like, especially you don't live, it's like, oh, yeah, the storm's over, and let's go back. When can we go back to the Bourbon Street? It's like, these folks live with this forever. Katrina caused more than $125 billion in damages.
Oh yeah.
Now that's over
Look at
200
did you
billion in
see?
today's
Just
dollars.
look at
Yeah,
the aftermath of that storm. Just all the devastation. The homes knocked down.
sure.
I mean, there's their cemeteries are above ground because
Yeah,
they're below sea level, and so you
yeah.
had what do you call them
Corpses,
things?
right? Corpses,
Well, obviously that,
caskets,
but I'm saying they put the bodies in.
casket.
Not the casket, the where
Oh,
you
the
had
grave.
but what's it called? What's the structure called?
Oh,
Come on,
mausoleum.
man. Is it
No,
mausoleum? Come on, man. Help me
I,
out.
I just said everything, man. I don't know what else you want me to
Jesus.
say. Grave, 6 feet deep. I mean, I don't
Well, they're
know.
not six
Dead,
feet
dead. I
deep.
don't know what you
They're
want me
not
to say.
6 feet because they're not underground.
Man.
The mausoleums knocked down, and so that caused,
Yeah.
you had, corpses, dead bodies everywhere. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, we just did the family feud to death. Okay. Yeah, no,
Shit, that's
mausoleum,
what it
grave.
was.
Man, y'all, no, real talk, man.
Man.
It was the point I was gonna make that I forgot. I got distracted by trying to figure
I'm
out
sorry, man.
what words you need. What words you needed. It's like, geez, I'm trying to help you, brother. I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, man.
I don't know.
I was getting ticked off, man. I'm sorry.
No, but no, truly, it is just like, oh, this was the point I was gonna make. 'Cause I'm not trying to make light of it. Like, you watch these Marvel movies and these superhero movies, and they tearing up the city and the town, knocking buildings over, right? It's
Yeah.
like, so shout out to Van Lathan. He said this. He's like, when you get older, you start seeing this. Like, who gonna pay for this? Like, how they gonna? And I agree. I was like, I never thought about that. So I got older. Like, how the city gonna? How is Metropolis
Oh
gonna
man.
recover from Superman breaking this building? Like, how is it gonna happen?
Well,
But
remember what they did to Chicago and Transformers?
you see what I'm saying? Like,
Oh man.
listen, man, we got enough taxes to pay for it. I ain't gotta pay for this. Get these Decepticons back here to
That's
fix this.
real. That's
It's
real, man.
real. But like,
We gotta get some subrogation insurance or
hold it's
something
like, hold on, man. Y'all
and
go
make them
downstate. Y'all,
accountable.
y'all got room. Go to Bloomington. It's room. It's a lot of space for y'all to fight. But
We gotta make
all
the
that,
mutants accountable.
but the thing is this, right? You see, like you said, you see the storm, people's houses just ripped away. Like, you think about California and the fires that just happened, right?
Mhm.
And and we don't hear about it, right? We ain't heard nothing about what's happened since then. So we should probably I'll look into that for the next
This
couple of
is
months just to
this is the
see.
important part of the rebuild
Yeah, just like what's happened.
how easy or hard is it to get what you need to rebuild your homes.
Well, also, but see, here's the thing too that we probably don't think about, because gentrification is a word people don't like to talk about, right? But it's like, people get knocked now out of people, as we read, all these people that are displaced from New Orleans, somebody could just come in and make a New Orleans in their own image, right? And it's
Hmm.
like, now the people who lived there and couldn't afford it can't even come back now. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's just a whole different type of New Orleans. They didn't fix it below, they didn't put whatever. Now nothing's below sea level. You know what I'm saying? Like they've made it safe now. People live that. That definitely can happen. So another more impact. Hundreds of thousands of homes were flooded or destroyed, and many people lost jobs. The economic recovery for affected individuals was slow and incomplete. Here we go. Rebuilding led to gentrification in New Orleans, making it difficult for many original lower income residents to return due to higher costs and the loss of public housing. Man,
Well, you have
widespread.
to remember the lady that they talked to before the storm. Her rent was $650. She came
Yeah,
back, 6 months later, and it was doubled
that's crazy.
in six
That's crazy.
months.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Widespread destruction of housing, healthcare, educational infrastructure. 60% of New Orleans housing stock was destroyed. The loss of hospitals, schools, and clinics changed the urban fabric. Like they focus on that story, the woman who like had a baby like the day before the storm.
Mhm.
Like what? Like I mean, the and I don't want to give too much away because it's like, but that gentleman talked about like losing his family, like they getting washed away, and it's like, and he's telling, I'm about to cry watching it, but
Mhm.
I'm sure he's relived it enough that not, he's just numb to it. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he saw and he said, I had to focus on the people that were in front of me. That's a decision to make, and it's like that's what people were dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real because you think about something like I was thinking about that too. Like, you guys know me talk about my children, talk about my daughter specifically. Like it's something like that. I'm always mindful of like if we in a jam, some like natural disaster, or even like you see these alien movies where you got to be quiet. She's not gonna be quiet. You know, so it's like I might as well get the gun because she's not gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? So in these instances where they got people who are pregnant and elderly, not just elderly and sick, right?
Mhm.
And they can't just. It's one thing when you swim. I'll get. Jay, you got to pretty much put people on your back,
Yeah.
and you don't know how deep the water is, and if people coming, people stuck on rules with this, and you looking at your loved one, and listen, you can't find no food. You can't everything's washed away. My
Yeah.
goodness, my goodness. The levee system was redesigned and reinforced to prevent similar disasters, and disaster preparedness systems were reformed on local and national level. Last thing, many neighborhoods never fully recovered, altering the social landscape and weakening previously strong community ties. Issues of environmental justice, we talked about this before, and systematic inequalities were exposed and remain topics of discussion and research. That's what we're talking about, just, the poorest and black people and the poorest people. And sometimes, and for unfortunately, that's synonymous. I had to check somebody about that one day. Somebody said, yeah, this is a black publication. That means low income. I said, hold on now. Those are not synonymous words. Yeah, I had to check somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I had to check somebody.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, environment. We talked about that ninth ward. That's below sea level. That's the most, uh, the worst space to be in if the storm ever goes bad. Because shout out to my pop. He always taught me to think of the worst case scenario and plan from that. You know what I'm saying? It's like because you do something and you be like, all right, I hope the right thing won't happen. His thing, no, son, plan for the worst. Because maybe it never happens. But in the event it does, you know what I'm saying? You're at least somewhat prepared for this. You're not just like, and because it's always a possibility. Unfortunately, I don't live on hope, man. I don't. It's like if this happened, at least I got my boards here. You know what I'm saying? I can
Mhm.
figure out the rest. I'm not starting from scratch. You know what I mean? Shout out to Pops, man. Yeah, and just Hurricane Katrina's effects are visible to this day across physical, economic, psychological, and social domains in the Gulf Coast. And again, I know it's easy for us to talk about it because we were here in Chicago, just watching it on the news. You know what I'm saying? But I think this definitely gives some color to what happened 20 years ago. And just, I remember people coming from New Orleans and being bused, not just to, like people going to Houston, right? That's why, like, it's like Houston's population all of a sudden got really big. People were coming up here. I remember people going to different schools and being from, yeah, they were displaced. And people were displaced like with nothing. You know what I'm saying? They had nothing and just had to go to school and find jobs. And people, I do remember that time people was trying to open up doors and opportunities for folks who were being displaced, right? So, but it's like all that culture from the city is now spread across the country. And then at the New Orleans that I guess we knew, right, is still trying to come back. So shout out to the people that are still trying to reinvigorate the culture of New Orleans. So maybe, I don't know, as I guess I go back and forth on it because I thought about, they had Super Bowls back there again, and large games, and when the Saints came back, that was a big deal. They won a
Huge
Super
deal.
Bowl
Yeah.
after that, right? After Hurricane Katrina, right?
I think they won a Super Bowl in 2009.
You're right. So after the hurricane, I
After,
mean, like years after. I mean,
yeah,
after it happened,
the
post
the
Katrina, but.
the Bears spanked them in the NFC Championship game in 2007. Just want to throw that out there. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't care
Go
about your
Bears.
hurricane. Try to get the Super Bowl, dog. Uh, y'all be all right. But no, man, it's like you still shout out to the people that's still trying to keep the city of New Orleans because it is a great. It's just, really. I went to my cousin's wedding down there. I think it was before the hurricane. I think it was 2005 yeah, 2004 or five, and it was like, man, this is New Orleans people talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when they got married, because his wife it was from New Orleans. Shout out to my cousins, and
So you were
they
right. It was right before the hurricane.
yeah. So I think it was '04. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, to your point, yeah, right before, like year before, what have you. And I remember, seeing the second line because I had never been to New Orleans. I heard
Yeah.
about it, right? You hear about jazz and the music, and just to see it, man, I was like, oh, this is a beautiful city. You know what I mean? Like this really is great. And I shot my, it was just my mom and I. Well, I had my cousins there, but my sisters didn't go out. But my mom and I hung out. It was a blast. We just hanging out in New Orleans, kicking it. You know what I'm saying? Eating good food,
I just
walking
remember, I
around.
remember when I went and I think I went in '03,
Yeah,
and just the food, man.
yeah,
Just,
man.
just eating seafood and
Listen, you,
uh
you see why it's tough for Zion. You know what I mean?
hurricanes and
Listen,
it's the worst place for Zion to be.
it's the worst. He needs to move
Worst.
to Portland. Okay, man. Shout out to the Portland.
Nah, Portland's
Maybe
got some
not
good
there.
food, so you don't need to go to Portland either. He
Oh, yeah,
needs
go
to
to
go.
Indiana. Sorry, Indiana.
Yeah, man, Indiana might be a good
Indiana,
spot for him.
Milwaukee, the Bucks. You might
Yeah,
get to the
nah,
Bucks.
the Bucks. You got a lot of beer.
Yeah,
That's
and you're not far from Chicago, so yeah, that's
yeah,
true. So
yeah.
he can't go to Dallas. He can't go nowhere in
Nah,
Texas. He sure can't
but
go to
but
Houston
that New Orleans
because
place, man, that New
because it
Orleans
ain't the
place.
food in Houston that's gonna get him in trouble. You understand what I'm saying? Uh, he might need to go to LA, man,
See,
where he
man,
get
I'm just talking
salad
about food
pieces.
here, man. You
Oh,
you
sorry,
going other
sorry. So
places, man.
sorry, brother. Yeah,
You
just
going
keep
other
it in the buck.
places. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Zion. You're still great, sir. But yeah, pray for New Orleans, man. 20 years after the hurricane. Leave it in the comments. What you think about this episode, the thoughts about Hurricane Katrina. And again, I just like stuff like this. It's just you get to see the other side of it because you experienced it, we experienced it one way, but other things were definitely happening. And so, it's good to have this perspective. So that's our show for today. Just me and Ez. Thank you for checking out the Super Duper Pod. We do not take your listens lightly. Ez, I miss anything?
No, I think you covered it all.
I look like a whole alcoholic. I did this whole show with this Johnny Walker Blue Label
Wait,
box right there.
is there something actually in the box?
I took it out. Shout out to Johnny Walker. Hey, send us a couple bottles. We'll do a whole episode about it. Might not be great, but we'll do it. But as I miss anything, man.
Nope, you all good. Covered it all.
Oh man. Well, make sure you take care of yourselves and each other. Hey, mama, this is the Super Duper Podcast.
That's champagne, real pain, champagne from you and I. Wait, you alive? Now that's champagne if you was I. Would you be off on this campaign? Is it suicide? If you know that bringing hope here is how careers die. Or do the K stand for kamikaze? The J silent is everywhere, you can feel them probably. Surely, lately, I've been up late with demons in my basement trying to get me to hate this. Life thinking I should be further and then I choke up. As soon as I got silent, then the truth spoke up. This said, how you know you ain't perfect? Let that soak up and soak in. You know how you know that you blessed? I woke up, then on my